Hello and welcome back to Actual English, everyone. I'm Jennifer Clyde. It's time for lesson 290, and today's topic is role model 2, that is. So today we'll have the chance to listen to an actual talk conversation between Gareth and Kelly, and they will be telling us about their role models. Someone we admire, somebody we respect and look up to, somebody we want to be just like in the future. Okay, so if you're ready, let's get started. Let's begin with actual talk.
I think role models are really important in life. In fact,
They are.
I'm developing new ones as I age. Do you have one?
I do, I suppose. Yeah, my mother's father, my granddad, was a great man. He was kind of a family man, and he worked hard, but he was very honest and believed in justice and was a good father and close to his daughters. So, yeah, and he liked sports as well, like me. So I think he was a very, good man. Good inside, yeah. Special guy.
The apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm not so
Sounds
sure.
like someone I know.
Oh, really? Wow, you flatter me.
I think a lot of
about you?
people are fortunate to have their role models in their family.
They are, yeah.
I have a grandfather who I also think of as a role model.
Would you look at that? The same, right?
Yeah, he was a soldier. He's
Wow.
an Irishman, actually. If you can
Like
believe
myself.
that. I'm half Irish,
Wow,
indeed.
yeah.
Very strong man.
Really?
The thing I liked about him is he did everything the hard way. He worked
yes.
he didn't take shortcuts.
That's great,
He
though.
believed in growing your own vegetables, learning
Yeah.
everything through books. He walked
great.
to work every day.
Fantastic.
Had the same job for 50 years.
I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
That shows real character and strength
Yes.
and courage to do that, to provide for your family, because it must have been hard for him, right?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And he started out with nothing, but he ended up with a house that's considered a national monument.
Wow.
In Canada.
A
for
rags to
being-
riches story.
Yeah, he
Wow.
definitely did. All through hard work, and he had 5 children.
Fantastic.
You can imagine that.
Yeah.
Big garden, and he did it all by himself, of course, with my grandmother's help.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I would say he's been a hero for me.
Yeah, behind every successful man is a great woman. True, true.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well
it's
said.
true. Very true.
Okay, here we are with actual talk. Did you listen carefully? Okay, here is a question for you all. Who is Garrett's role model? Okay, it was his grandfather. What about Kelly? Who is Kelly's role model? Well, she may have a few others, but she did mention that, it is the same for her. Her grandfather is also her role model. So these two have mentioned that their grandfathers are their role models, and they've told us a lot about their grandfathers. Let's find out through the conversation. Here we go. First of all, Kelly begins by saying, I think role models are really important in life. So if you want to stress that something is needed, if something is really, really important, you may start off by saying, I think that something is very important in life. It's a great way to start a conversation or start your response. So that's how she starts. And she says, in fact, I'm developing new ones as I age. Okay, now, so she is talking about her role model. She says, in fact, actually, I'm developing new ones as I age. So to develop means to what? To grow, to evolve, sometimes even to advance, right? But she's saying that she is perhaps adding more and more role models to her list. There are new role models, okay? So I'm developing, creating, in other words, new ones, new role models as I age, as I get older. Do you have one? She asks. Now, Gareth says, I do, I suppose. Yeah, my mother's father, who's actually his grandfather or granddad. This is just a cuter way, a more casual way to call a grandfather. Granddad, okay? Grandfather was a great man. He was a wonderful man. He was kind of a family man. Let's take a look at this sentence. What is a family man? Okay, now he is telling us all about his grandfather. First of all, he said that he was a great man. And second of all, he was a family man, a family person, a family man, okay? If somebody is a family person, you're saying that he or she is family oriented, family focused, family concerned. It means that he or she pays a lot of attention to their family. Family is very important to them. So he's saying that his grandfather was kind of a family man. Family was very important to him. He worked hard, okay? But he was very honest and believed in justice. So he was also an honest person, and he believed in justice. Now, justice basically is the belief that all people, everybody should be treated the same. And everybody should have the same rights, for example. So there's no poor, there's no rich, there's no better, there's no worse. Everybody should be treated equally and fairly, most importantly. Fairness is most important. So that's what he believed in. And he says, he was a good father and close to his daughters. He was very close to his daughters, meaning he had a good relationship with his daughters, okay? All right, moving on. And he liked sports as well. So he was a sports person. He was into sports, like me, he says. So I think he was a very good man, a special guy. All right, he sure sounds like he was a special guy. And then what does Kelly say? She says, maybe the apple didn't fall far from the tree. Now, this is a very long expression. This is an expression that is used to, I guess, express that children are very similar with their parents. We often say children take after their parents, not only appearance-wise, but characteristics, personalities, because children grow up around their parents. They see what their parents do. They hear what their parents say, right? So, of course, children are very similar to their parents. This is just a way of saying that. The apple from an apple tree didn't fall too far from the tree, meaning it's very close to the apple tree. Didn't go far away, it's right there, meaning it's very similar, okay? And then Garrett says, thank you. Not so sure, meaning I'm not so sure if I'm a very special guy or a very good man, but you flatter me. Okay, flatter means what? It means to try to please somebody, especially with complimentary, remarks, compliments, praises. So if you want to make somebody feel good, you may say, wow, you look wonderful today. Ooh, I like that shirt you're wearing. Did you do something to your hair? You look stunning today. So these are complimentary remarks, good remarks, positive remarks. When you want to make somebody feel good, you may flatter them. So he's saying, I'm not so sure if I'm as good as a man as my grandfather, but you're making me feel good. You are flattering me, or you flatter me. Now, Kelly says, I think a lot of people are fortunate to have their role models in their family. In other words, she's saying that a lot of people are very fortunate or lucky to have a role model in their family, or have one of their family members as a role model, such as their grandfather, grandmother, parents, and so on and so forth. Okay, fortunate is just another way of saying lucky. Okay, lucky. I have a grandfather who I also think of as a role model. I also think of my grandfather as my role model is another way of putting it. So Garrett says, really? The same, meaning you and I are the same. We have something in common. He was a soldier. Here we go. Let's find out about Kelly's grandfather. So he was a soldier. He's an Irishman. Okay. He was an Irishman, a very strong man. The thing I liked about him is he did everything the hard way. He did everything the hard way, the difficult way. And then she says he did not. He didn't take shortcuts. Okay. First of all, let's take a look at shortcut, that word, okay? So what is a shortcut? Say, for example, you're driving and there's traffic, okay? There's traffic on the main road. There are other ways of getting to your destination. You can take narrower roads. You can take the back alley. Of course, there are shorter routes to get to your destination. So a shortcut is like maybe a path or a road or even a street that you could take to get somewhere faster. A faster way is a shortcut. Okay, faster way to get somewhere is a shortcut. A shortcut could also mean an easy way, an easier way. So she says that her grandfather didn't take shortcuts. He did everything the hard way, the difficult way. So he was the type of man, okay, that wouldn't cheat. He wouldn't go other ways or, do things otherwise just because it's easier or faster, okay? He did it the way he wanted to and should have been done, okay? So, wow, he sounds like he was a wonderful guy. All right, and Garrett says that's great though. He believed in growing your own vegetables. Aha, he believed in. He thought that something was important. So he believed in growing your own vegetables. Okay, maybe if you had a garden, you can grow your own vegetables. Learning everything through books. Okay, learning everything through books. In other words, reading a lot of books. He walked to work every day. Wow. So he walked to work every day and he had the same job for 50 years. That is incredible. So he had the same job. He went to the same company or the same office for 50 years. Well, they could have moved, but basically he had the same job for 50 long years. Now, that is not very easy. This reminds me, a story about Kelly's grandfather reminds me of my grandfather-in-law who passed away quite recently. But yes, he was well over 90 and he was working up until that point. So he had a job until very, very old, until his 90s. And he was a really special guy as well. Anyhow, so we're talking about Kelly's grandfather. Here we go. Garrett says, I think that's incredible. Okay. That shows real character and strength and courage. So we're talking about character, strength, and also courage. Courage is another word for bravery, okay? He was a very courageous man, a very brave man. It must have been hard for him, right? That's right. I'm sure it was not easy. It must have been hard, difficult for him though. Kelly says, I'm sure. And he started out. Start out means to begin something. He started out with nothing. He didn't have much, but he ended up with a house that's considered a national monument in Canada. Wow, that is unbelievable. Okay, let's take a look at this. He started out with nothing. You could start a company with nothing or start out a company. You can start out basically anything with nothing, meaning maybe with not enough money, with really nothing, okay? Empty-handed sometimes you could even say. But you can end up with, which means as a result, later in the future, if the story flips around and it becomes a success, you can say, I started out with nothing but ended up with blah, blah, blah. Okay, so he started out with nothing, but he ended up with a house that is considered a national monument in Canada. What is a monument? A monument is like a structure, a building, or even a site, okay, that is built especially to remind people of a special event of the past or even of a person, Okay, so monument. We'll take a look at some synonyms later on to help you understand better what a monument means. Here we go. He says, a rags to riches story. That's right. He started out with nothing but ended up with a house. That's considered a monument in Canada. Rags to riches is a pattern, okay? Rag, R-A-G, is something, a piece of cloth we use to maybe scrape or wash the floor, okay? White floors and dirty windows when we clean our houses. Riches, we're talking about wealth. So we're talking about a rags to riches story. A story about very poor people or poorness to wealthiness, okay? The process of how things change. And then Kelly says, yeah, all through hard work. Thanks to hard work. It was all due to hard work. And he had 5 children. And he did it all by himself, of course, with my grandmother's help. So he had 5 children. He had to raise 5 children. He worked very hard. And of course, he did it all by himself, also with the help of his wife, which would be Kelly's grandmother. Of course, he says, behind every successful man is a great woman. You will hear this quite often as well. What does this mean? Behind every successful man is a great woman. This means that a lot of men, not all, but a lot of men are supported by their wives. They get help from their wives in order to succeed. Okay, so thanks to their wives, a lot of men succeed. And of course, Kelly says, well, yes, thank you very much. So it sounds like Gareth as well as Kelly, they have some wonderful grandparents. What are your grandparents like, everyone? Okay, anyhow, let's take a listen to the actual talk conversation one more time.
I think role models are really important in life. In fact,
They are.
I'm developing new ones as I age. Do you have one?
I do, I suppose. Yeah, my mother's father, my granddad, was a great man. He was kind of a family man, and you know, he worked hard, but he was very honest and believed in justice, and was a good father and close to his daughters. So, yeah, and he liked sports as well, like me. So I think he was a very, you know, good man. Good inside, yeah. Special guy.
The apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Oh, thank you, thank you. I'm not so
Sounds
sure.
like someone I know.
Oh, really? Wow, you flatter me.
No, I think a lot of
about you?
people are fortunate to have their role models in their family.
They are, yeah.
I have a grandfather who I also think of as a
Really?
role model.
Would you look at that? The same, right?
Yeah, he was a soldier. He's
Wow.
an Irishman, actually. If you can
Like
believe
myself.
that. I'm half Irish,
Wow,
indeed.
yeah.
Very strong man.
Really?
Very. The thing I liked about him is he did everything the hard way. He worked really.
Yes.
He didn't take shortcuts.
That's great,
He
though.
believed in growing your own vegetables, learning
Yeah.
everything through books.
Ah,
He walked
great.
to work every day.
Fantastic.
Had the same job for 50 years.
Now, I think that's incredible.
Yeah.
That shows real character and strength
Yes.
and courage to do that, to provide for your family, because it must have been hard for him, right?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And he started out with nothing, but he ended up with a house that's considered a national monument.
Wow.
In Canada.
A
for
rags to
being-
riches story.
Yeah, he
Wow.
definitely did. All through hard work, and he had 5 children.
Fantastic.
You can imagine that.
Yeah.
Big garden, and he did it all by himself, of course, with my grandmother's help.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, I would say he's been a hero for me.
Yeah, behind every successful man is a great woman. True, true.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Well
it's
said.
true. Very true.
Here we are with actual expressions. Let's begin with our vocab words. Are you ready? Okay, let's get started. Developing. Developing means expanding, advancing, growing even, okay, improving. Justice. Stress goes right there on the first syllable. Justice. Justice. Justice could mean authority or even law, but as I told you, if you believe in justice, you are saying that you believe in fairness among all people, okay? You believe that people should be treated fairly. Moving on to flatter. Flatter. In the verb form, to flatter someone means to compliment somebody, to praise someone, to try to make somebody feel good, okay, by saying nice things to them. Moving on, fortunate. Fortunate, it's a four sound, fortunate, and it means lucky, blessed, even successful. Lucky would be the easiest synonym, lucky. Courage is what? Bravery. You can also say that something was daring. It means that you need to have courage to do something. Something can be daring, okay? Courage. You need courage to do something that is daring. What about monument? Monument. Here we go. It's like a memorial, a tribute, even a shrine. So we often see shrines. We can go to a site and see shrines that are built for people to remember a person, a special person of the past, or even of historical events. So these can be buildings, structures, or even sites. Monuments. Okay, moving on to our first pattern. The apple didn't fall far from the tree. So once again, here is an apple tree, okay? And there are apples. An apple falls, but it falls, boom, right there. Not too far from the tree. It's close to the tree, meaning the apple is very similar to the tree or the other apples. Simply put, the apple didn't fall far from the tree means that children are very similar to their parents. Let's check out a sample sentence. Here we go. My niece is already shopping with her shopping-obsessed mother. The apple didn't fall far from the tree. So we are saying that my niece is very similar to her mother. In what way? My niece is already shopping with her shopping-obsessed mother. So she is also obsessed with shopping. Okay? Moving on to the next one. Rags to riches. Now this means to begin, life very poor, but become very rich in the future. To start life very poor, but later on become very rich. Rags to riches. Here we go. People who go from rags to riches are often humble and nice. Okay? People who go from rags to riches. People who start off a very difficult life, a very poor life, but eventually work very hard and become very rich in the end. Many of them seem to be humble and nice. Okay? And here we go, our last pattern. Behind every successful man is a great woman. We're saying that, yes, a lot of men need to thank their women, their wives, girlfriends, whoever it is, for their achievements. Here we go. Have you seen how happy Jim is after he got married to Jill? Behind every successful man is a great woman. Okay, so we're saying, yeah, Jim should be thanking Jill for his achievements. Thanks to Jill, Jim is very happy and successful. That's just a simple way of putting it. Behind every successful man is a great woman. Believe it or not, just keep that in mind. Okay, everyone, job well done.